All right. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Dr. Payne with Rejuvenate Health and Wellness Centers here in Fort Worth, Texas. I want to thank you for putting some time aside today to listen to my message. We're here on my social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So be sure in your spare time to check out my social media platforms. But if you're ever unable to see these videos here on the social media, then they will for sure be on the Mind Fuel Academy on my website at rhwcenter.com. So let's get into this. So quick question for you. How many of you hate wasting your time? Raise your hand. And how many of you hate when other people waste your time? Raise both your hands. So we all hate wasting our time, and we all hate having other people waste our time. Research shows that when you actively participate in things, you get more out of it. So a lot of you are educators. We see a lot of educators in our office. You know that class participation is one of the best ways to learn. So I invite you that when I ask questions, that you comment below and say your opinion or say what you're thinking, because I bet you somebody else is probably thinking the same thing, or they may need to hear it. So what I want to do is tell you that this time is put aside. Think of it as this is your self-care for today. Okay, so you've carved out this time. I want you to lean in and I want you to engage. So I'm going to start off this presentation with a short little testimony, but it was something about this testimony that I hope that you get out of it. And it is from a patient, her name, a patient, of course, her name is Juliana. So I posted this the other day, but there was something specifically I want you to hear. So she says, since beginning care, I have less pain, more energy, better movement, and increased flexibility. I no longer have a pinched nerve in my left shoulder. I have become more aware of my body. I love the way Dr. Payne is kind, thank you very much, and always explains what she is going to do. And she always explains what's happening with your body in a simple way. So I hope that through the Mind Fuel Academy, that's what I do for you, is that I'm able to bring some things to light for you in such a simple way where you can apply it. So welcome to my Fort RHWC. This is my Back to Chiropractic basic training. I talked a little bit about what we're doing for the rest of the year with this. So this is the first video that we're doing. And my mission for the rest of the month has to do with talking about the real health crisis. So when we think of health crisis, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? You might think of diabetes. What's the first thing? You also may think of cancer. You might think of cardiovascular things. You may also think about cancer. But when you look at these actual diseases, you think, wait a minute, most of the time are lifestyle diseases. So these lifestyle diseases mean that people are living their life, they're making choices that are affecting their health in a negative way. So what is it about the choices we are making about our lifestyle where it's become a crisis? So it's affecting from person to person, city to city, state to state. You see where I'm going with this, all over the world, to where it is now a crisis. So think about that for a minute. I was reading a paper not too long ago, and it was talking about the 3 types of chiropractic patients. And I see these 3 types in my clinic. So what I'm going to do is explain these three to you. And what I want you to think about is which one of those types of patients apply to you. Maybe you flipped flopped between one and another one. So let's talk about the three types. You have a pain patient, you have a restoration patient, and a wellness patient. So those are the three common types of patients. And I'm going to read to you about a pain patient. So this type of patient comes in with pain. They get one to few adjustments, they feel good, and then they leave. This is not a good use of chiropractic care. So this is like the person that starts a quick fat diet, right? To hurry up and shed a couple of pounds. This is similar to that. In that situation, nothing has really changed with this person. Their mindset hasn't changed, their physiology hasn't changed, and they're probably going to gain more weight than when they started off. So the weight quickly comes back on. So the second kind is a restoration patient. With a restoration patient, they recognize that they have a spinal and nervous system issue, okay, in the context of chiropractic. And they choose to take action to have the problem corrected for a restoration. So they receive care for about 4 to 6 months, okay, and they leave. Again, this is not a great use of chiropractic care, but it is a use nonetheless. So this is like the person that goes on a diet, exercises right, try to change their eating habits, work out straight for 4 to 6 months. And somewhere around that time, they do something bad, eat something they shouldn't, and next thing you know, they've fallen off. Have we all been there? I have. So they're doing great. Life is great. They feel like $1 million. They're out of there. So eventually, in this case, the person will gain weight and the fat will return. And just like this patient who typically puts more weight back on than they originally took off, we find that in my clinic, this patient averages about 15 to 20 more adjustments per year because they have not given their body the opportunity to go to wellness. So the third patient is the wellness patient. So the wellness patient not only gets out of pain, but they also have the problem corrected and then choose to continue care to live life fully. So now it's a part of their lifestyle because they want to make the best use of their time, their energy, their money. So let's face it, it's easier to stay healthy than it is to get healthy. And you can ask the person who has lost their health. Health, as I've said before, is our greatest asset. When you're unable to move, you can't stand long, you can't walk, you have terrible diabetes, you have whatever that disease where it has taken away your quality of life, ask that person what they wish they can get back, right? So looking and thinking at these three types of patients, when it comes to your habits and looking at yourself, which one of these three which one of these three best describe you? So if you would comment in the comment section there, and I'm gonna look and see if we have comments. Okay, so think about that for a minute. So with these lifestyle changes and choices rather that we make, what is it about the thinking that leads to failed health, failed decision-making when it comes to taking care of yourself? What leads to fear, worry, anxiety, frustration when it comes to our health? So I've been reading this book and I love the title because it's called Effortless Success. Effortless Success. I like those because you can not only be successful, but it's with little effort. So that sounds impossible, but it's by Michael Neill. And I was told about this book by Barbara Eaton. So as I've been reading this book, he talks about, and this can apply to anything in life, he talks about before, and we'll put in the context of health, before we start eating right, right? Today, I'm gonna start eating right. And before we start making changes to our meals and before we start implementing all these things that we think we want to do, what you have to have before you even start that is a foundation. But not just any foundation, a foundation to create an extraordinary life. So, not living your life from day to day nonchalantly, but have an extraordinary life. That's the way we should live. Extraordinary, right? We're here to take in all that we were put here to do. So he talks about 4 foundations or pillars in creating this extraordinary life. And I want you to hear this real closely because this is the foundation to helping you stay healthy. So these sound very simple, but you'd be surprised how we skip over these from day to day. So the first one is know yourself. You've got to know what you want. And in respect to health, what do you want out of health? What does that look like to you? Do you know yourself enough to be able to make those decisions like that? And not just with health, but with anything. So, number one, know yourself. And later we'll be talking about, as we do and go through these missions, we're going to talk about, okay, how to truly know who you are. If you don't know, I mean, there's people that they have friends that know them better than they know themselves. Okay, that's wrong. That's backwards. Number two, and I like this one, trust yourself. So have you ever been with friends and they're like, hey, you need to come and do this? And you're like, nah, I don't really trust myself to do that. So if you don't trust you, what good is that for you? So you should not lie to yourself. Okay, you need to be able to trust yourself. The third thing is love yourself. We hear this before, but let me break this down a little bit more about loving yourself. Have you ever thought, hey, once I lose these 20 pounds, I'm going to be happy? Or once I get to this size, I'll be happy. When I start working out again, I'll be happy. So you're waiting to achieve what you want to be happy, but instead come around it from a different perspective. You need to come from your happiness. So how about you go into changing your health with happiness already there? Because you know what you're working towards. It's a totally different experience for you that way. Number 4 is my absolute favorite, and it is inspiring yourself. You don't have to wait for somebody to inspire you. And you don't have to wait for something to be inspirational to you. You need to inspire yourself. Live with the liveliness in you. Isn't that awesome that you can have a vision for your health and a dream for your health that excites you? And that's with anything in life. You should want to have an excitement within yourself. So once you have the know yourself, the trust yourself, the loving yourself, inspiring yourself, you will start to get into a flow. Have you ever got into, so if you're like the restoration patient, right? For those 4 to 6 months, it feels like you're in this rhythm and this flow. You're making your smoothies in the morning. You pack your salad right at lunch. You're eating your protein and your vegetables at dinner. And you're doing this for you, what you think is consistent, and you feel like you have that flow. But you don't have that long lasting flow. So in this book, he talks about the first thing to keeping the flow is recognizing the obstacles that can stop or block your flow. And there's 9 of them, 9 obstacles. So first one, you don't know how. You don't know how to keep the flow. I have no idea. Number 2, you don't have the skill set. You don't have the education. That's where the Mindful Academy is coming into, is to give you the know-how, to give you the skill set to be able to keep that flow. Number 3, you don't believe you can, and therefore you don't even try, right? 4, you don't have the energy levels or the well-being to start and keep the correct flow. Number 5, I really like, because if you live with someone and say you're not in sync when it comes to y'all trying to be healthy, one is usually being healthy, the other one is very laxed when it comes to it, right? So he talks about, for number 5, you don't have a way of dealing with people who might have different goals than you and seem to be in your way. Have you had that happen to you? Yes. Number 6, you aren't motivated. 7, you don't have the time. 8, you don't have the money. And number 9, I posted a quote, I think it was 2 weeks ago, about fear. Number 9 is fear. That fear will get you. Too many of us are living in that we're not living our dreams because we are living our fears. That's a lot in that statement. I've seen, and I've struggled with this myself too, of course, but I've seen people be in their own way, right? I've been in my own way before because of fear. You let fear stop you from healing. You let fear stop you from getting the care that your body needs. So those are the 9 things that affect the flow. So which one of those, if not all of them, can you think about are obstacles that, hey, these might be contributing to why I can't stick to it, why I can't get in the rhythm and keep it? So this is the foundational things and tools that he's talking about. So the main thing is for you to work on the 4 foundations, and then also to realize those obstacles that are stopping your flow. So that's what we're going to do together as we go through, especially within the next month or so. This month, we're talking about this health crisis, right? And the health crisis, thinking about it now, is it really disease? Is it diabetes, cardiovascular? Is it cancer? And even spinal degeneration? I think the real health crisis is because you can manage your diabetes all you want, or attempt to, and you can try to manage all those other critical diseases, and they are, I'm not devaluing them at all. But if you don't start here, all else will fail and you won't be successful. So what I have done, and the Mindful Academy will be open tomorrow. I have created this short little worksheet that's going to support this video this lecture or presentation that I have just done. And only do this if you are one of these 4. If you are serious about making a lasting impact on your health right now, not next week, not on Monday, and not for spring break. We're talking about right now, because I'm doing this right now. If you're frustrated about the endless hamster wheel of starting, stopping, this year-long mission that I'm on is for you. If you're sick and tired about worrying and having anxiety about your health, I'm telling you, this Mindful Academy is for you. And if you're tired of getting in your own way, of living in fear and not living your dream, this is for you. So if that's you, please, please take advantage of it. This little short worksheet is going to bring up questions. And this is for you to keep. This is not for me to see, but it's going to bring you through those 4 foundations and those obstacles to get you to at least start thinking about it. So just in summary, the real health crisis starts here. This is the health crisis that we need to get a hold of, okay? So In the comment section, I want you to tell me what you liked most about today's video, and also tell me what you learned. I am so interested to know what you thought about it. And then let me know if there is something that you want to talk about when it comes to this, right? That this true health crisis that we are fighting every day. Let me know if you have a question. Type it in the comment section. And what I will do is I will do a live, or I will comment on your actual comments if you do have a question or something that you want to talk about. So next week's video, we're going to dive a little more. We're going to inch our way through it, right? We want to make sure we complete each level of what it's going to take for you to not only get healthy, but stay healthy. We're going to be talking about how to implement this stuff, okay, into your daily lives. So the only way for you, or the only way to know if you can be helped like Juliana was, the testimony that I read at the beginning, you need to schedule consultation or a checkup. I do virtual consultations. You can call. I've made it easy. You can call. You can text my office, 817-731-4848. Or you can go to my website, rhwcenter.com. And what you will do when you go to my website, you'll be able to pick my very next available appointment. So I look forward to meeting you if that's you. And if you haven't been in a while, I look forward to catching up with you. Thank you so much.